President Donald Trump has now appointed Chris Rocheleau to serve as acting FAA administrator in the wake of the nation's deadliest plane crash in nearly a quarter of a century. In a press conference yesterday, the president also suggested without evidence that DEI initiatives could be to blame for the accident. Now I want to bring in CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe for more on this side of the story. Ed, this DEI issue was brought up several times during that news conference yesterday. Will this impact the investigation in any way?
Doesn't sound like it, Chanel, because the Transportation Safety Board officials who will oversee the actual investigation said they essentially heard what the president had said, but reminded all of us that they review a series of things. They review the machinery. They review the specific engines of these aircraft. They're going to review the radar and satellite data. And they review all the people who were involved in it, from the pilots in the planes, the flight attendants on board, the people in the air traffic control tower. So they don't jump to conclusions before an investigation begins, is what they were signaling. And unless or until they see something regarding the people involved, they're not going to jump to conclusions the way the president did.
Got it. Okay, let's talk about the FAA administrator here. Who is Chris Rocheleau?
Well, Rocheleau's been involved with the FAA now off and on for about 2 decades. This is actually his third stint leading the Aviation Safety Agency, and it speaks to a broader systemic issue that this agency's had. A series of administrators through the years not able to really hold stable political leadership at a key safety agency. He was appointed deputy administrator just last week because the previous administrator quit in late December, or signaled he would, ahead of the Trump inauguration. And that's in part after several months of public disagreement with Elon Musk over how the FAA was overseeing SpaceX. He had fined SpaceX a 6-figure sum for some safety violations. Musk didn't like that, and had essentially been using his platforms to call for his resignation ever since. So he was gone, the number 2 had stepped down, and so you had acting leadership in charge of this key agency when the inauguration happened and the transition really began. It's a good reminder of why across government they really push Democrats, Republicans, and people who've done this before to ensure that you have career professionals who know these places, at least serving as the acting folks, before a president can step in and appoint somebody. And in this case, he's chosen to have Rocheleau do so.
And Ed, I want to ask you about some breaking news we're just learning about right now. The CEO of NVIDIA is coming to the White House today for a meeting. Tell us why.
That's right. CBS News has learned that Jensen Huang is meeting with the president today. It is scheduled, we're told, probably for this afternoon. One person familiar with this telling CBS that this meeting was planned weeks ago, has nothing to do with the sudden emergence of DeepSeek, that Chinese AI provider that may, in essence, have lapped everyone else and for a far smaller cost. But essentially it's because Huang has never met the president before, and the White House was eager for them, and NVIDIA was eager for them to meet. So he's had meetings with CEOs of all sorts during the transition and since he became president, and this appears to be part of that. But the timing, obviously, a little suspicious to the tech sector and the business community, given the news about DeepSeek in the last few days.
Okay, a lot of threads to follow there. Ed O'Keefe, thank you.